Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the long-awaited SuperBro movie show. We've been working hard on this, trying to get this ready for y'all, and we're finally ready to get our first episode out there. So you're joined today with me, Parker. My Twitter is Parker from SBM. I run SuperBro Movies. I'm the editor-in-chief. I'm going to be your host today. Also with me, I got Marcos.
Hi, I'm Marcos, head of all writers. You can find me on Twitter at BizGamer9, don't ask. And
Did you say head of all writers? I think we can definitely go with head writer, my friend.
Head
of all writers. He's the head
That was a
of all
joke.
writers in the world. All right, and we also got Caleb here.
Hey, I'm Caleb. I am a head writer for SuperBro Movies. I'm actually the youngest writer we have. You can find me on Twitter at CalebSod20. That's Sod with two Ds. It's not sad.
Oh, geez. I thought it was sad this whole time. And, of course, last but not least, we have Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob Campbell. My Twitter is at JacobCamp13. I'm one of the newest head writers. I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you too sometimes, Jacob. So the first topic we got today is the Spider-Man Homecoming sequel officially got its title, and it is Spider-Man Far From Home. What do y'all think about this?
I like it a lot better than the rumored title, which was Field Trip. That was a terrible title, so I think this is a lot better.
I guess they're going with a home vibe so it's Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. I don't know what they could do for a third. At first, I didn't really like the Spider-Man Homecoming title, like at all, until I saw the movie, and then it kind of rolls off the tongue after you see the movie. So I kind of feel the same about this one. It's not like my favorite title. I would have much rather like Spectacular Spider-Man or something like that. But honestly, I'm not really going to judge it because it seems to fit the plot really well. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I was not a fan of Homecoming, the title, at all, but I guess like the last Spider-Man movies were the Amazing Spider-Man movies. This one is going to be the Home Spider-Man movies.
funny. There's only one thing I really didn't mind about the last Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. There was one particular extra in the Homecoming scene that just really rubbed me the wrong way. And it's funny
yeah,
because
he
now
was
he's
a terrible
doing this.
actor.
I think I know what you're talking about. It was terrible.
He's actually in the podcast right now, everybody. Caleb was actually in Spider-Man Homecoming. You can see his groovy dance moves at one point in the movie. So we have a little local celebrity.
Yes, that was me, and sadly, I didn't get my permission slip signed by my mom in time, so I will not be on Spider-Man's trip to Europe next summer. Yeah, so what do you guys think about Spider-Man going to Europe? This will actually be the first time we see him out of the States, probably second time we've seen him actually out of New York, if you don't count his time in space in Infinity War.
And like Germany. He's already been to Germany once.
Yeah, in Civil War.
There was also
Oh, yeah,
there was a
that's
little promotional material or something that he filmed while in Germany. It might have gotten deleted from his like home video cam in the beginning of Homecoming. But I know he also he's already saved some people in Germany, and he already had like little people waving him on. So I feel like he's going to be definitely welcomed with like open arms. I think we're assuming it's going to be London, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing going around.
It's funny. In Amazing Spider-Man 2, he joked about going to London. Too bad Andrew never will.
And it's also rumored that he'll meet Gwen Stacy in Europe, or she'll be a foreign exchange student, so that would fit in with what they're going for.
Yeah, and it seems like he'll be going with his friends, so it'll be kind of a field trip type of deal. And if Jake Gyllenhaal is indeed Mysterio, which hasn't been confirmed, but I assume he'll be in Europe at some point, maybe an actor, failed actor, and that's how they'll introduce him.
What a funny choice to play such a not as well-known villain as Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, you'd think Jake Gyllenhaal would get some big role like a Batman or a main Avenger kind of guy, and now he's playing Mysterio. I'm not mad because Mysterio is honestly one of my favorite villains, and Jake Gyllenhaal is probably one of my top 3 actors. So, I mean, I can't really complain, but it's still such a crazy option I would have never saw coming.
He's probably just kind of attached to Spider-Man ever since, Spider-Man 2 from Sam Raimi. He wasn't able to play him since Tobey Maguire was able to get back on his feet. So he's probably attached to that and probably thinks this is a safe bet compared to Batman.
Do you think he'll have the fishbowl, though? That's the real question.
I hope he has the
I hope
fishbowl.
so.
They better.
I feel like we'll probably
Can't be a Mysterio without it.
we'll probably get some concept art in probably the next 2 weeks because they start shooting in 2 weeks, and I feel like we'll get some concept art of Spidey's new suit and Mysterio, so there's not those shitty set leaks that the internet loves to talk about.
And us.
I love talking about
Don't
him.
forget about that.
Yeah, true. We do too.
You gotta love leaks.
All right. Speaking of Spider-Man characters, what do you guys think about the new Silk movie announced by Sony, which will be part of the Venom and Silver and Black universe, which, as far as we know, doesn't include Spider-Man.
I don't think it's happening until we see how Venom looks. See how much Venom does.
I've got really mixed feelings about it because, like, with Venom, you can kind of do it on its own because you can just have someone else get the symbiote. But Silk's backstory and her origin is linked directly to Peter Parker. They were bitten by the same spider. That's why they have, like, a strong attraction to each other. So I feel having it without him, it's going to be kind of odd.
Yeah, definitely. It's all gonna be dependent on whether or not Venom makes the money and whether or not audiences will want to see anything outside of Venom and in that universe, which I doubt, but you never know.
I mean, Venom looks.
And besides,
passable.
it does look good, and if people are tuning into it, you know.
The second trailer was really good for Venom. I think it had, 64 million views?
Yeah, I saw somewhere that it was more views than any other Spider-Man trailer.
Yeah.
Which is really surprising.
I think I have a little theory in the back of my head going on, especially with like Silk and all those other Spider-Verse characters. I think Marvel's training us for a Spider-Verse movie. If you notice, they usually throw some stuff in a few years in advance before the movies. Civil War 2 came out, 3 years before Civil War, the movie? It's kind of like they reintroduced the items into your head. And they've been forcing Spider-Verse down our throats. I mean, we had the video game, all the cartoons, the comics, the other comics. That I feel like there's been 3 events like that. Now we're getting these spin-off movies, and then there's Spider-Verse, like a blockbuster movie coming out. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're definitely going to set it up for the MCU, and I just feel like with this kind of movie like Silk, you can have it be standalone, and you can have it be in this Venomverse, but then you can easily connect Spider-Man Homecoming, or that cast, Tom Holland, to like a Spider-Verse movie with all these guys. So I think they might honestly be doing that. That's why we're getting all these alternate Spidey announcements.
That could be a good idea, especially with especially with Avengers 4 and everything. They were talking about them time traveling, and I heard them talk about them going different dimensions with the quantum realm. I can see a Spider-Verse movie making sense in the MCU in the future.
Well, that would also be a good way to tie in the X-Men if Fox does get sent over to Disney.
Mm.
Oh, I just feel like they're definitely conditioning us for this movie. I know there's the villain in the Spider-Verse comics, like Morlun, I think is his name. Probably throw him down. You could have Strange. You could have Doctor Strange show up and like introduce Spider-Man to the multiverses even. But I don't know. I feel like you could have this movie as a standalone Silk movie, not connected to anything, low budget. But then 6 years from now, when we get a Spider-Verse movie, you could just throw her in and not have to explain what she is. And technically, she's not in the MCU, and you could get the same actress and everything.
That's true.
That's why I'd love to see like a 2099 announcement, a Spider-Man Noir announcement as a movie. That'd be crazy.
That would be really good, actually.
Better than Silver and Black, for sure.
Oh my god.
I'm actually pretty hyped for a Silk movie over a Silver and Black movie, if I'm being real too.
I mean, have Silver and Black, or Silver Sable and Black Cat ever even shared a comic panel together?
I don't think they've ever shared a comic together. They just they put a board of their female characters at Sony and threw a dart and were like, which 2 are going to be in the movie together? Which is a terrible practice.
These are both colors. We can make a cool title out of this.
Sounds like a Sony board meeting. But hey, Silk could be really fun. I'm surprised it wasn't Gwen Stacy, but I'm excited for a Silk movie.
I feel like they're banking more on Gwen Stacy because she'll be in the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen. It'll be the big reveal.
Yeah.
And they probably will get whoever actress they get to play Gwen in the sequel, even if she's only in one movie, even if she dies in the next movie. They'll probably like surprise you during Spider-Verse, like, hey, look, she's back from another alternate dimension where she's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. All right, speaking of the MCU, a couple months back, Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos, he was at the Puerto Rico Comic-Con back in May, and I was attending. Now, he had a panel. It was actually a really fun panel. He was a really cool guy. And he was talking about Avengers 4, because, of course, someone's going to talk about the Avengers movies. And he said he was on set, which made sense. He's the creator of Thanos. Of course, he didn't say any details or what he saw or what he was talking about to the directors, but he did tease that he's shooting for a third credit for this film, for Avengers 4, meaning whatever he created or in the comics would be in the film, and he therefore earn that credit. We ran it. We reported, of course, as what he said. Recently kind of backpedaled on those comments and kind of made it seem like we took it out of context, and how other sites kind of took it out of context, but it kind of sounds like, kind of backpedaling on it, when it's pretty clear. Looks like it was a small mess up, him just teasing something that maybe Marvel didn't want, people to know about.
Yeah, it sounds like something Disney called him up and was like, hey, y'all probably shouldn't have said that. If anything, that kind of, from what we've heard even, that some of his characters are going to show up anyway. So there's really only time will tell at this point, I guess. Easily we could have taken the article down if we were told beforehand. We didn't want it to escalate, of course, to the creator having to call us out. But yeah, I guess only time will tell what's going on. If we took it out of context, we're sorry. Watching it, we all rewatched the video and seemed like it still didn't seem out of context, but that's on us.
And to add to that, of course, maybe that's not what he meant, but the audience pretty much thought the same thing. Everyone was cheering, so yeah.
And he let everybody cheer. Like he kind of let it on. Like, I just told y'all something, kind of. But hey, if we took it wrong, we took it wrong. We all apologize from here. So yeah, let's enough on that. That's just some housekeeping. Something that literally just happened, 20 minutes ago. Turns out Space Jam 2 might be coming out and might have already filmed and might be getting a trailer soon. I'm pretty hyped. I would guess that the trailer for it will definitely drop on the same day LeBron chooses what team he's going to. It could be a good hype. Definitely will be that day.
Yeah, some have said that reveal of which team that he's going to could tie in to, that trailer / they say it might be a documentary of sorts, since I'm not sure if they've shot the movie already.
Yeah, because there was no announcement of filming or anything.
I mean, do y'all have Flashback Cinema where y'all at? Where once a week a different movie plays from an old movie?
Yeah, some of the theaters do that for us.
A few weeks ago it was Space Jam, and me and my roommates went to go see it, and we were all like, this needs a 2, and LeBron is so perfect. But watching the old one, I feel like it took him probably a month to film that, and it was just Michael Jordan on a green screen. So, I mean, you could easily, if it was pretty much just LeBron on it, I'm sure there was a few cameos, but I feel like they could have definitely kept that secret. And honestly, I think Space Jam 2 could make a lot of money. What it could kind of do what The Incredibles just did, Incredibles 2 just did, have an old generation taking a new generation and super hype for their childhood.
Oh, definitely.
I could definitely see Space Jam 2 being, having that much hype as Incredibles 2. It won't make out as much money, but it can definitely get that amount of hype, because I know us 90s babies, we love Space Jam.
Oh yeah, I'm not even a 90s baby, and I grew up watching that movie. Me and my brother still talk about that every day. And I'm pretty excited for a new one, but I can't say that I love LeBron being front and center. I would honestly rather see maybe Kobe Bryant and they bring him out of retirement to help them stop the Monstars or another alien race. But that's just me.
So yeah, I guess we'll just wait and see on that one. Probably in the next few weeks. I would definitely LeBron's not an idiot. He's a really smart businessman. If he's in this movie, he's definitely going to drop the teaser around the time of wherever he chooses to go, because LeBron James, his name will trend for 2 days if that happens. Easy.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, there's not much more to talk about on that one. The next topic, looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, could be shown up in episode 9.
I think that would be great news, honestly. Everyone loves Ian McGregor's Obi-Wan, and bringing him, it would really connect the prequels to the current trilogy in a great way. And
J.J. Abrams has said before that this episode 9, will tie together all 3 trilogies, and that's probably part of the way that they're going to do it, is bring Ewan McGregor back.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And if they do indeed go forward with the solo film for him, it would be a good way to see how the audience reacts to his return. Whether it's small or he has a couple scenes in episode 9, but that'll probably tell if they know that audiences really are excited for this character.
Oh, you better believe audiences are excited, because that's.
I would love for
you go on the internet, any Star Wars fan page, you go on Reddit, Star Wars subreddit. That's literally all people talk about. I mean, if Disney were to make one movie once they acquired the rights to Lucasfilms, and to make fans happy, it would have been an Obi-Wan movie with Ian McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Part of me wonders, I feel like I would love to see him come back for the Obi-Wan in the trilogy, but I feel like it would be weird considering the main characters now only know him as old when he was old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
when he was old Obi-Wan.
So I'm assuming they're probably gonna use some CGI or makeup to make him look old and maybe appear as a Force ghost for Luke or Rey. But they could also do a flashback if maybe he does turn out to be Rey's dad or grandfather. They can do a flashback to him during the Clone Wars or on Tatooine, and that would explain that plot point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Moving away from Star Wars, do you guys want to talk about the Man of Steel 2 news that was out there?
Yeah, Henry Cavill went to Instagram and kind of teased us a Man of Steel 2, which is, 20 years late at this point?
About that.
Pretty much.
I really want a Man of Steel 2. I'm, I guess, one of the minority who loved Man of Steel 1. How did y'all feel about it?
I like Man. It's not one of my favorite superhero movies, but I definitely like the movie.
Yeah, I've definitely grown to appreciate it more past the first viewing, and it has its issues, but there's definitely a lot to take from it. Henry Cavill is a great Superman, and obviously I think Warner Brothers knows this, and they should really play on this for the rest of the DCU.
I think it depends on the Mission Impossible whether they announce it in the next few weeks or not. I think for Mission Impossible trailers, it looks like he's going to be the standout, and if he really is, that's the best time to announce Man of Steel 2.
Oh yeah, it would be perfect.
And maybe if rumors are true, then we'll see The Rock as Black Adam in that movie as well.
I feel like they're going to go a really fresh direction. They're going to get somebody new, I would say, to direct it. Because it feels like they're not bringing Zack Snyder back. I wouldn't mind Zack Snyder coming back because I actually really like his work, and Man of Steel was a really accurate portrayal of Superman, I thought. Especially the powers. Like, say what you want about Zack, but he knows how to direct superpowers.
Yeah, he does it well. All the physics with his flying, fighting, and everything. He's really... You look at, recent fights with kind of superpower people kind of based on what he did there. So you got to give him credit.
If Zack doesn't come back, who do y'all want to direct it?
Joss Whedon.
Get out of my podcast.
All right, let's give a real answer. I think if Warner Brothers really wants to make a big announcement and make it hype, they would have the director of the next Mission Impossible announced as alongside Henry Cavill in the new Man of Steel just after that movie comes out. That would be pretty big news, and if people will respond to Mission Impossible, then they got everyone there.
That's a good idea, actually.
I think Matthew Vaughn people usually really, really want. He's one of my favorite directors. I wouldn't mind him too much. I can't think of anybody else that's really been rumored.
Yeah, they're the main people talking about it.
That
are in talks for it.
I wouldn't mind. He was actually rumored to direct the Flash movie, but Robert Zemeckis, I think.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
He would do a really good job.
That's a really good choice there.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be good, actually.
Honestly, underrated choice, but it's too late now because he's already doing a DC movie. Steven Spielberg.
Dude, I was thinking about that.
He could do a really cool Superman, I think. And he could bring that old
magical,
that old feel to it.
Yeah, he's great at creating the magical feel.
Yeah, and that heart, and he's really good at heart. And with Ready Player One, I thought the action on that was really cool. And honestly, very Zack Snyder-esque. He might be someone cool to take over. But he's doing that Black Hawks movie, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he's in talks for that right now. And I think the Blackhawks movie, they're talking about keeping it separate from the DCEU. It's more its own standalone thing, which I think is good now.
Didn't the guy from Wonder Woman, I'm blanking on his name, the actor character, didn't he tease that he was going to be in it?
Yeah, a while ago. He sent something out on Twitter.
So
that's possible.
I mean, with that kind of movie, you can set it completely standalone and never connect it to the MCU.
Well,
not MCU, the DCEU.
I mean, speaking of the separate kind of standalone movies, we've also heard that we're getting this Joker movie, potentially with Joaquin Phoenix. And there's also rumored that Matt Reeves' Batman movie would take place in that universe as well. So maybe DC is creating this whole, Elseworld universe with their DC movies that lives alongside the DCU.
Dude, honestly, I think that rumor of Matt Reeves' Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is complete BS. I think even the guy who said it got called out. I don't think it's happening. I could be wrong. I really don't know what's going on over at DC, but I just don't see them doing that at this point. Just because it feels like with the Joker, they're keeping it super, super separate. It's nothing connected to anything. But then with Matt Reeves' Batman, he has said multiple times that it's very DCEU. Like, it was in the past. He did say it was very connected to the DCEU, and that is a part of this story. I could see it being a prequel, like maybe 20 years in the past, but it's still connected to the DCEU. I just don't see them bringing in another Joker. I see them not having the Joker before they bring in Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, especially because Leto's still around.
Yeah. Well, that's how they were talking about doing it with this separate label. Under, I think it was like, I can't remember what the name for it was, DC Dark or DC Black. That way you can have multiples of these characters. Which I think if they do have that happen, it would be an easy way for them to bring in another Batman if Affleck isn't interested in keeping the role.
I just really hope Warner Brothers blows it away this Comic-Con and just sets the record straight, because honestly, silence is kind of an answer, I think, when it comes to rumors like this. And even look at the Jim Stalin situation. It wasn't true according to him, so he came out and said something. But if you don't decline a rumor, it almost, if you like ignore it and don't talk about it, it almost feels like you're more like saying it's true. So I'd really like it if they just came out and said something at Comic-Con or make a big announcement, because at this point it's almost every day we get a new DC article about something going wrong or something new in development.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of exhausting.
DC really needs to be more vocal and I guess communicate more with their fans about what they're doing. You know, you see Marvel have all these big slate presentations, and they'll have official announcements letting you know when something is going into a development. But it seems like almost every DC project over the last 3 years has been a rumor from a website, and it's never actually been officially confirmed by Warner Brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll have to, get ahead of everyone and start announcing. I don't think they have to announce so much in the future, but I think announcing for the next couple of years will help ease the minds of some fans that don't know what's going on.
I feel like San Diego Comic-Con it's their event right now, especially since Marvel is going to be there. DC, they have no real competition right now.
Other than Sony.
Other than Sony, yeah.
Is there any word on Fox Marvel being there?
I haven't heard any news about that right now.
They probably wouldn't have anything to present anyway.
I think all they have is maybe some news about Dark Phoenix, but that's what that is. And they really don't have anything about New Mutants.
All right, keeping on that conversation with DC, let's move it to their TV side. It was just recently announced that Jeremy Irons will be starring in the Watchmen TV show.
That came out of left field.
Yeah, I think that's actually really good. That's going to be really good. I'm really excited for the Watchmen TV show, especially since they're keeping it kind of separate from the comic itself. They're doing it more of like an offshoot set in like an alternate future, which should be really good.
I don't know how I feel about it. I gotta see some footage from it, just because I watched the original Watchmen like 2 nights ago, and it still holds up. Like, the original Watchmen is still really good. And then I heard they're like following cops in this one, and I don't know where they're gonna go with this. And I feel like the first one was done really well, and I would have much rather a newer DC property or something different on HBO instead of something we've already seen. And realistically, we saw it pretty well the first time.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it really depends on how close they stick to the source material. It seems like the guy running the show, he would kind of want to use it in a way that it's canon within the series, but they won't really show it or go into it that much and really focus on its own thing set in that world. So that'll be interesting. So it's really going to depend on their original stories and how we respond to those characters.
And I don't know if you guys have seen any of the leaked set photos from the show, but it still seems like it's going to be very connected to the original comic, because they've had some images that it features characters from the Minutemen, and there's a few spoiler images out that really connect it to the events of Watchmen.
Do we have a release date for this show yet?
I believe it's I think it's next year.
Is that coming?
Next year.
Wait, isn't that Amazon?
No, it's going to be an HBO.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna save my judgment until we get maybe a little more footage, even, or maybe like a poster. Or a plot. So we don't even have a plot synopsis yet. So, like, we don't even know who Jeremy Irons is playing. He could be playing anybody. He could be playing a narrator. Like, we all know his voice is amazing.
I think he's playing some kind of he's a character. He runs a British manor, I believe it is. But he's not from the comics, it seems, from what we've heard.
I say they just shave his head and just make him Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah,
I think so.
Paint them blue, just spray paint them blue.
Yeah, spray him in blue. Do little touch-ups with CGI, and he's
Full
good
wang
to go.
hanging out. He's great.
Yeah, HBO. There's no limits.
I don't know. He's got range. He can do it.
All right, let's switch it over back to the Marvel side. It was Kevin Feige just recently announced that there's going to be more LGBTQ plus characters coming into the MCU, meaning like more. We already have some like Valkyrie, but like officially, coming out and at the forefront, and you'll be aware of them in the movies.
That's really awesome how they're connecting to like today's times and giving a very diverse cast for a very diverse group of people watching the movie. It gives somebody, a teenager who might be LGBT or anything, and gives us somebody to look up to, like, hey, they're like me. I think it's really good, and I feel like they're definitely going to go a lot into that with X-Men. Eventually they get the reboot. I can see an extremely diverse young cast of all different kinds of walks of life people. I mean, anybody who's mad about this, though, is like, why do you have to be mad about this? One, love is love. So, two, let people love who they love, and it doesn't really affect you what the person on the screen loves. Because for the most part, superhero movies don't even go into romances, period. So, it really doesn't affect anything. Like, affect the haters, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had, I don't know, hundreds of superhero movies about white straight males. I think we can throw in a couple diverse ones in there.
It keeps the stories fresh that way.
Oh, yeah.
That way you're not telling the same exact thing over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and keeping on this topic, I think Kevin Feige also said he's hoping that, half of the future MCU lineup will be women, which is also great to hear. I mean, we're seeing first female-led movie with Ant-Man and the Wasp, even though she's technically sharing the spotlight. But then Captain Marvel will be the first official solo female-led movie, and then shortly after that, we should be getting Black Widow. So that's great to hear, too.
Yeah, I actually just left Ant-Man and the Wasp like 45 minutes ago, and let me tell you, Wasp is a badass. Like, she's so cool, and I'm pretty thankful. Like, all the women characters, there's some mediocre guy characters in the MCU, but definitely, like, all the women characters have been usually the standout to the movie. And I'm pretty much thinking that this is Kevin Feige confirming A-Force is probably going to come. I mean, all the actresses seem to want it. All the people seem to want it. There's some teases at it in Infinity War. And I think an A-Force movie would make like $2 billion at this point. Like, I think people would line up for miles to see that one. Especially with Valkyrie, Wasp,
Black Widow,
Captain Marvel, Gamora, maybe.
You get Okoye in there, Shuri.
Oh, Okoye, yeah, Shuri.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good women characters, and I just have this, and Scarlet Witch, and they really, so far, they've all had such great screen time. Like, Infinity War really showed that, like, the chemistry between the women characters is already there. Why not give us an A-Force movie? I know I'd love to see it. Would y'all?
I'd say it.
Yeah, as long as it
any
comes,
Marvel movie.
as long as it comes naturally, and they're not just doing it as an excuse to just put all their women in one movie. If it comes naturally in the movie and for the plot, then yeah, I'm all for it.
I mean, realistically, the past few MCU movies, and I feel like it's going to happen next week with Ant-Man and the Wasp, people are leaving saying their favorite character in the movie was a female, and it was a male-led movie. Look at the Wasp was going to be one, and then we have Okoye in Black Panther, and then there was Valkyrie and Thor. Like, these women characters are there. They're finally getting pushed to the forefront a little bit more.
That's just a sign right there. And, segueing from there, of course, just talking about the Wasp as one of your favorite characters, Parker, since you just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we haven't, unfortunately, since we're, simple people. Give us what your thoughts on it. What do you think? What's your immediate kind of reaction after getting it out of that theater?
Spoiler free, of course.
Oh, yeah, no spoilers, guys. Don't worry about it. I really liked it. The first Ant-Man, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's good. It's a good chapter in the MCU. Ant-Man and the Wasp was slightly better than Ant-Man 1, I thought. Yeah, it's good. It's a nice palate cleanser after the big Infinity War. It's a very self-contained story. Very small in scope. Probably only takes it's only like a day in the movie, too. It's very much a fast-paced heist film. It's a blast. Like, it's really fun. Scott Lang is an adorable dad superhero. Like, he's so hysterical. Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is such a unique character, I think, at this point, when you see these superheroes, because usually they're all tough and angsty, and then there's Paul Rudd, and he's a really good breath of fresh air. The Wasp, definitely a huge standout. She's such a badass. Like, she literally could be one of the best fighters in the MCU already. They really go hard with her character. Luis is funny. He steals the show. Somebody I almost forgot was in the movie completely, and it's honestly one of the best parts. Randall Park. He's playing Jimmy Woo. And his interaction with Scott was amazing. And it was almost like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I think people are going to really like this one. I wouldn't say it's like top 5 MCU, but definitely maybe top 8.
If you were to compare it to another MCU movie, maybe in terms of quality, which one would you put it up against?
That's a good question. Slightly above the first Ant-Man is probably the best thing I can say. Maybe a little more fun than Doctor Strange. Better than the first Thor. Is better than first Avenger. Probably on par. It's not one of my favorites. I didn't leave it going, wow, I'm amazed, but I didn't leave it going, wow, that was bad. I left it very similar to the first Ant-Man.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter that had seen it so far during screenings that it was comparable to going from the first Avenger with Captain America to Winter Soldier. Would you say it's like on that level?
I wouldn't go that far. But I also think structurally the MCU is so different. I think Phase 3 has been by far the best phase. You can see they're really letting their directors make their movies. The movies just all look better. You can really see that Kevin Feige took control over Ike Perlmutter just because they're more diverse. They're letting the directors do what they want. They don't all feel like the same movie. Like Phase 1 and Phase 2, as diverse as the movies were, like in the tone and all that, they felt like the same movies. In Phase 3, all of them feel so different. We got the indie film with Spider-Man, Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, Ant-Man and the Wasp. They're all so different. Black Panther. So yeah, I definitely would say this one's a worthy inclusion in Phase 3. Might be towards the bottom of Phase 3, though.
All right, I have a very important question. Keep spoilers out of this, please.
We'll see.
Does Baskin Robbins make an appearance? Okay,
Oh,
I need a yes or no.
I didn't even think about that. No, they do not. That's unfortunate.
All
I
right,
can't
once
see
you've seen
the movie.
movie. Marvel, you failed me there.
That's a shame.
All right, okay, but here's a
I
real
had one job.
question, and you can answer yes or no. You don't have to go beyond that, but does it tie into Infinity War / Avengers 4?
Yes.
All right, that's all we need to know.
Honestly,
All right, I'm buying my ticket.
That would probably be the movie it ties into. I'd say Civil War, Ant-Man 1, Avengers 3, and I'm assuming Avengers 4, the movies it ties in. It's probably the only movies it ties into. It's really self-contained. Just make sure you watch the post-credits. I know some people still leave during MCU post-credits. I don't know. I know none of y'all are, because y'all have to write articles about them. But stay for the credits. Especially the mid one. The mid one is going to blow your socks off.
Sounds great.
And for the final portion of today's podcast, we went to Twitter and asked for y'all's questions. So I'm going to read you the question, and y'all are going to give us the answers, and let's see what we think about these. So the first question we got coming is from @138_Renee, and they asked, what are your thoughts on the Predator Red Band trailer that was released today?
It looks like a pretty good movie. I'm not too excited for it, but I'll definitely see it.
I'm not as excited as I should be for it, I don't think, as a big Predator fan. It looks like the plot of Jurassic World.
I've never seen Predator. I'm not really familiar
You're
with
fired.
that fan base. I'm sorry. I'm not cultured, I guess. But to me, this seemed kind of basic, just kind of basic action movie. I'm hoping it's not because it's Shane Black and he always brings something special to the table. And then there was kind of the twist that there was a bigger Predator out there. I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be another twist, and they didn't just reveal the biggest plot point in the movie. But yeah, nothing surprising me. Probably won't see it opening day. Maybe get around to it if there's good reviews.
Yeah, I saw one thing on Twitter about like the ultimate, Predator they have. What if the twist is that it's a hybrid of a Predator and Arnold Schwarzenegger's character? And I was like, that's kind of interesting, but also kind of cheesy at the same
Sounds
time.
like Terminator Genesis. Like it sounds like some Terminator,
exactly.
like, the new Terminator movie stuff.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like I love Shane Black, and I was expecting a lot from this, but the trailers. I mean, this one was better than the first one by a good margin.
Oh, you heard that joke from not Jordan Peele, the other one.
Keegan-Michael Key?
Yeah, Keegan-Michael Key. It was just kind of like, to me, it just kind of, it was like, that was like
It was really cheesy.
like 5-year-old joke. It's what you say to someone on Xbox Live.
I feel like it'd be funnier if like it's in the moment that it's happening. Because I feel like it's a really dark moment that's silent. Then he just comes out of the blue and says it, which doesn't work for a trailer. I mean, it's not funny, but I think it might be a little better in the movie.
Yeah,
if it's even in the movie.
Really weird to me.
I feel like they're trying to keep most of the movie to themselves right now. They're not trying to spoil too much for us.
Yeah, it looks like we only saw like 3 scenes in that trailer, so that's pretty good.
You know, I'm a fan, but you know, the movies after the first one kind of like made me uninterested. But this one looks good. The first trailer wasn't that exciting. I think this trailer, the Red Band trailer, is a lot more. It shows a lot more of the movie. It shows more of the ultimate Predator, the next gen Predator, and it's gonna be entertaining. But whether or not the story is gonna be good, or you know, Shane Black is known for kind of wacky stories, so we'll see.
I was thinking about it. What is it with these 80s, like 70s, 80s franchises where they make one really good movie, maybe one or two, and then they just kind of all go downhill after that? I mean, you've got Alien, Predator, I'm assuming, Jurassic Park. Like, what's the deal with that?
I feel like sequels weren't as common back then. Like, nowadays, every movie's a sequel. So, back then, movies were usually one and done.
All right,
and
other than Alien.
I'm also offended you just said Alien is the only good Alien movie, because Aliens is better.
Okay, yeah, I said one or two good movies.
That's like one of the only ones in the early movies, like early history of the blockbuster, that have been good. Like, for the most part, sequels have not. Even Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom wasn't even that good. The third one was good, Last Crusade, but it was like sequels weren't really a thing before.
As long as we count out the Rocky movies and the Star Wars movies.
No Rocky slander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of, like, this wasn't a Q&A, but what'd y'all think about that Creed 2 question? Creed 2 trailer.
Dude.
I think it looked great.
So cool.
Oh, such a good. The first one was one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm day one-ing that movie. I'm so pumped. I don't want to see anything more from it, though. Like, I'm going to try to avoid the trailer.
I don't even want to see Ivan Drago.
Oh, he's in the trailer.
Yeah,
he's in the trailer. You could pause it at one scene, when the face-off scene, like before the game.
I thought it was just his son.
No, he's in the background. He's very clearly in the background. Nice. But Rocky's not. I saw that Rocky's not at Creed's side. I feel like he's not going to want to train him.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be like Karate Kid 3, where he goes to another trainer. You know, I feel like Rocky's not going to be quick to train him on this one.
I don't know. Creed 1 was one of my favorite movies that year. Was my favorite movie of that year, and one of my favorite movies of all time. So, and the second one looks just as good. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is Coogler's not back, but the new director looks really good. I think Coogler handpicked him, and Coogler was still on as a producer, so I can't be too worried.
Another thing that is a little concerning is that I'm pretty sure Sylvester Stallone wrote a majority of it, and I know he's written some great movies, but I don't think his recent stuff has boded well for him. But you know, I'm sure it's in good hands.
But Rocky's his character more. Like, I think he wrote Expendables, which is kind of just a mess of a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Rocky's his baby. Like, he is Rocky. Like, nobody will ever play Rocky again.
Yeah, that did make his career. So
people refer to him as Rocky on the streets still, I bet. Like, he's not. I don't think he's going to want to screw this up, especially how successful Creed was, and it got him that. Did he win the Oscar?
He was nominated.
No. Oh, but yeah, he, like, nominated. So that's huge. That right there, that's huge. He's definitely going to be careful with this, I think. I think he's going to make sure it was good.
I think the parts that he did right were mostly his own role. Like, just the Rocky scenes I'm hoping for.
All right, let's move on to the next question then. The next question is, what is your favorite film of the year so far? I know a lot of your answers, including my own, is probably going to be Infinity War, so I think we should go with some other films you really like this year, because we can all agree Infinity War was amazing, Thanos was great, visuals were awesome, just an all-around, I would say, one of my favorite movies of all time, so we could probably avoid talking about that one.
I'm going to echo Parker's statements there, and really, Infinity War is just top of my list, one of my favorites of all time, especially for Marvel, but other than Infinity War, it's another superhero movie, came out pretty recently, is Incredibles 2, completely blown away. I think it's on par, perhaps better than the first one. I think it's more entertaining in some aspects, but it's definitely up there for me. Definitely one of my favorite Pixar movies. What do you guys think?
Worthy inclusion.
I loved Incredibles 2. It was definitely one of the best movies of the year for me so far. And it was really, I thought it would mainly be like the nostalgia feeling of, look, I get to see the characters back on the screen, but it went beyond that, and it was still a very entertaining movie.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it for the second time yesterday, actually, and the parts it does right, it really does right. I mean, the whole family aspect is what everyone loved from the first movie. That's what makes it unique. And that I just love everything with Mr. Incredible and Jack and especially Violet and her boyfriend troubles. But for me, the problems the movie had kind of stuck out a little more, really only concerning the villain. That's just, I don't know, some people were okay with it, but to me, like, watching it again, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but it really kind of stuck out like a sore thumb, and
A Thor thumb.
a Thor thumb. It stuck out like a sore thumb, and it's really not even close to the villain that the first Incredibles had.
Yeah, Syndrome was underrated for his time. I feel like Syndrome today would work even better too, because we are dealing with a lot of that toxic fanboy culture.
Oh yeah.
We see that every day. Look at the Last Jedi remake.
Oh,
By the way, did y'all
I
put
hated
it in that
Last Jedi.
GoFundMe yet? I told we're all
Absolutely.
doing that,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Oh, 100%. Terrible movie.
If you guys are all joking.
The Incredibles 2 is a worthy inclusion of that list, I'd say. Some other ones I would throw out there. Ready Player One, I thought was really underrated. Hereditary. I walked out of that movie having a really good time on Hereditary.
I don't even want to talk about it. I did not have a good time. I will never watch that movie again. It's a really good movie, don't get me wrong, but it freaked me out.
As a huge horror fan, I've seen like all the classics. I see all of them that come out in theaters. That one probably has been the scariest. I think most scared I've been on a first viewing. Even the second viewing had me going. I never get scared during these movies, and it's just a really well acted movie too. There's some deep scenes in there. I think there's even been buzz that the blanking on the actress's name is people are throwing her name into the Oscars for.
Oh yeah,
did y'all see that too?
I've heard that a lot too. I think she's definitely a
worthy inclusion. She gave a performance.
I have not seen Hereditary because I am scared of horror movies.
You don't want to see this one.
I do not. No.
Fun fact: our HR guy Josh, the second in command of the site, he's never watched a scary movie before. He hates them. Super religious guy too. Absolutely hated it. But me and his girlfriend convinced him to go see it, and he had a good time. But he definitely was not the biggest fans of us. Cause I tried to convince him. Oh yeah, it's not that scary. It's not that religious even, and he was not too happy with me. But I think he had a good time. It will be a horror movie we make our kids watch 20 years from now.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to go down with The Poltergeist and The Exorcist as like the horror movie of our generation. Like that is the defining horror movie, I think.
Those and The Conjuring. I think both The Conjurings are worthy inclusions. Sinister and the first Insidious. I'd probably say are the best modern scary movies we've gotten.
Definitely.
Any other films y'all want to throw out there?
Yeah, something I saw recently which made its way to number 2 on my list was Annihilation. I know that came out a while ago, but I watched it pretty recently because it just came out on digital. And I love that movie. I thought it was great, deep, layered storytelling, really made you think. I might like it better than Ex Machina, which was that director's other big movie. And I know some people aren't huge fans of it, mainly the way the kind of big reveal happens at the end, but I thought it was amazing, and I can't wait to watch it again.
Then nobody mentioned Black Panther, and I'm sure that's up on y'all's list too.
I feel like everyone loved Black Panther.
Yeah, that's like at least
not.
4 for me.
The movie I really liked this year was Game Night. That was really funny.
Yeah, that's a good.
You seen that? That was hilarious.
I saw that one like a week, 2 weeks ago, and that was a happy surprise. The Flash is in good hands, honestly. Like, and their shots in that movie were so cool.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I loved the game board scenes. Those were really good.
No, that was such a good. That was one that is definitely up my list. Upgrade was pretty good. I don't know if y'all saw Upgrade.
I have not. Was that good?
I've been meaning to get around to that.
It was like John Wick mixed with an episode of Black Mirror. It's pretty good. It's really unique. And we had the pleasure of talking to the director on that one in person. He was a super nice guy.
Yeah, it was great. A superhero movie I feel didn't get as big a buzz as it should have was Deadpool 2. There's always the big build up to Deadpool, but I don't feel like it didn't get as much love as the first one did. And I don't know why. I loved that movie. It was hilarious.
2 words: Infinity War.
True, it did follow it up. That was poor timing, but so good.
The first Deadpool, first Deadpool came out in February, kind of similar to Black Panther, where there was nothing around it. So I think that was coming out maybe 2 or 3 weeks after Infinity War. That definitely has something to do with it.
Yeah. One thing I did like about Deadpool 2, not the movie itself, but what happened around it. Everyone's like, why would Deadpool put itself around a Star Wars movie? It's going to get crushed. And the opposite happened, and I thought that was hilarious.
I still think we saw a ton of thought piece articles on why Deadpool 2 failed or why Han Solo failed. Because they both... Deadpool 2, they were thinking was going to make $1 billion, and it made less than the first one. I still think it's definitely on the fault of Fox and Disney scheduling 3 of arguably what could have been the biggest movies of the year within a month of each other.
Yeah.
Like all these thought piece articles on the Solo digging enough marketing or whatever. No, it's simply because movies are expensive nowadays, and with 3 of what easily could have been the top 3 box office of the year, all coming out, boom, boom, boom. That was I think Solo should have moved to like December, and Deadpool should have kept its original release date in June. I think they all would have made more money. I feel like Han Solo would have made like double what it made.
I feel like all movies need to be a month away or 2 months away from every Marvel movie ever made. If a Marvel movie is that month, you're just don't put it there.
Maybe not
just go away.
The Ant-Mans of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, maybe not the Ant-Mans.
You know, your Captain Americas and your Avengers.
Yeah.
You gotta isolate those as much as you can.
If studios are smart, when Avengers 4 is coming out, don't put any movie near it at all.
May is stacked.
You know,
next
just
year.
clear out, move all your movies to 2019 because 2018 it's for Avengers. Just don't even bother.
Mm-hmm. Just email Kevin, ask if it's okay to put your movie here, and you're good.
Well, I know John Wick 3, the Men in Black reboot, and something else are all coming out in May next year. I bet you at least one of those moves, because Avengers 4, everybody and their mother's going to want to go see.
Those poor movies.
Because the movie that dethroned Avengers 1 from the #1 box office was actually Men in Black 3, and I think the Men in Black reboot is going to be the one that comes out closest to Avengers 4, which is kind of funny, showing how much culture.
Yeah, especially since it has Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson both in it.
That movie's gonna be good.
They're both MCU stars.
I think they should move that movie to like a fall release or like a release without a lot around it, because I feel like that could definitely turn into like a Jumanji almost. How Jumanji made a ridiculous amount of money because nothing was after it. That movie I could definitely see.
Yeah, he loved
Caleb really liked that movie. Actually, that was one of his favorites of the year.
For the record, that was the worst movie I saw last year, but that's just my lukewarm take on that movie.
It wasn't bad. It was cute. It was funny. Like the first time, I never really felt a need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Caleb felt attacked by all this high school stereotypes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's still in high school.
Yeah, me being a high schooler, I thought it did a piss poor job.
Surrounded by children.
We have any more questions from the Twitter sphere?
Yeah, we have one more. Our final question, I'm sure we could go on for hours about, so let's try to keep it to a minimum. What are your predictions for Avengers 4?
Gosh.
Oh, wait, and that's from, sorry, I forgot to shout you out. Comfy Hearts on Twitter. And then the last question we asked, the favorite film of the year, was Agent Cutie Pie. That's a really cute name.
All right, I'm just going to get the big theory out of the way, which everyone is thinking of, is time travel. We know from many set photos that they will most likely be taking a visit to the setting of the first Avengers movie. We've seen them in their original costumes, and they have these weird devices on their hands, and that is just something I am super psyched for. I mean, time travel is my favorite plot element in movies, and just to see that mixed with the Avengers is going to be insane. I can't wait to see what they come up with.
Yeah. I hope they don't do something where, because I know a lot of theories are, it's going to rewrite a bunch of events from the MCU. Part of me doesn't want that to happen, because I love like the history of all these Marvel movies together, and I feel like changing it could make things a little different for the future.
Yeah, the one way to go around that is go time travel, but at the same time visit like identical realities, and then from there.
It sounds like some Rick and Morty shit, honestly.
Yeah. Sounds just like that.
I think whatever they do will probably just end up erasing or changing the events of Infinity War. But I think everything before that is fair game to stay alive.
I've heard some stuff about this, so I don't want to go into my like theories or anything, because I can support some of the theories with some evidence. But something I don't know anything about is like the final battle. And did y'all see that app, Contest of Champions, that little cinematic trailer they released?
Yeah,
with Thanos. I just want to fight like that with the cool cosmic background. Every Avenger, every Guardian, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Black Panther. I just want everybody versus Thanos on like a moon or an asteroid with this cosmic background. And if they don't have something with all the, like I know, spoilers, half of the people are dead. If they don't have something with all of them, I feel like we're all going to leave pretty disappointed.
what would be really cool is if, say, they go on Titan or some desolate spot in the universe, and it's like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor facing off against Thanos, and it's just the three of them. But then you have, like, I guess maybe the Soul Dimension, where everyone is kind of assuming all the dead characters went to. They're just coming out, like, one by one as they're getting released. And then it's just a huge swarm of heroes attacking Thanos.
Oh,
I think that would be really cool.
That'd
be so cool. God, I'm so excited for that movie. It's going to be... I mean, from what I've heard, there's a lot of stuff going on with this movie, and I'm a little hesitant because almost as much is going on, but at the same time, I just trust the Russo brothers. How good Infinity War was, I don't see this one not living up to that hype.
How good all three of their movies are.
You could argue it's going to piss off some people. They're the best comic book directors. I'd say past Nolan.
Definitely.
I'd say past Nolan.
I think currently, for sure. Currently, for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely up there with Nolan and Raimi as just the best comic book movie directors.
If Avengers 4 is as good as Avengers 3, I think that will cement them.
Yeah, that would leave
well.
throne.
Because like Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Infinity War, that's a pretty good resume right there.
What I think separates the Russo brothers from like Nolan and Raimi, in those latter movies, they only had to really deal with like the one hero. They had Spider-Man, they had Batman, but in the Russo's movies, 3 out of 4, they've had to deal with the entire MCU. All these heroes working together.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's a lot harder.
That takes a little bit more work. Yeah.
And they really embrace the comic book. Like, say what you want about Nolan. I love those movies. They're some of the best movies ever made in history, honestly. But he doesn't embrace the comic book as much. But then you see the Russo brothers, who literally just gave us a Mad Titan throwing a moon. Like, but somehow their movie, I would say, is even on par with the movie that was super realistic. But they can incorporate those huge fantasy elements so well. And I prefer that when I go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes your movie viewing experience, especially if you're seeing an IMAX, it literally is an experience. I mean, it might be a little cheesy or a cliche, but it's not just a movie. Like, it's literally like a touchstone of cinema, like a landmark that'll go down in history as like probably one of the biggest movies ever made. And it's just a huge experience, just seeing all this crazy stuff happening on screen that you never would have imagined.
I remember the first time leaving Infinity War, I literally felt like I just worked out. Like, I was blown away. Like, I didn't even know what to say. Like, it was just such an experience. And it was just watching a movie. It was ridiculous. It was something I've never felt before. I don't know if anything can ever top that feeling. Maybe 4. But I don't know. What they did was just miraculous.
I'm still having trouble coping with that ending.
Oh.
I didn't want to go.
Oh, and then when one of my favorite parts of the movie is actually in the credits when they show the title and then the piano hits and it slowly fades to dust.
Dude.
And that was
so messed up.
That was so emotional.
Yeah, that's like
wait till you see Ant-Man and the Wasp, the last frame. It's gonna make y'all really happy.
All right, well, stay tuned after the credits.
In my screening for Ant-Man and the Wasp, the last frame made a few people say "F you" to the screen.
Huh.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Marvel's got us by the balls.
Oh, something we haven't talked about, Avengers 4, is probably the biggest thing. How do you think Captain Marvel will play into it?
I think we know Marvel is planning on making her the lead of the MCU. I feel like they're definitely going to focus on the main 6 of the original Avengers, but they're going to try and put her in as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it feels organic. It's not like here's the new main hero. They're going to want us to feel it a little bit more.
I think I've had this theory going on. I think she's in the negative zone right now. Because when you look at it, throughout the MCU, the Kree have been everywhere. We've seen the Kree. We've seen different branches of the Kree. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Guardians of the Galaxy. They've been all over the place. Yet there hasn't been any Skrulls. And it's weird if this big Skrull Kree war happened, like, where are the Skrulls? And then James Gunn came out the other day and said he wanted to put a Skrull in the Ravengers, but they told him no. He wasn't even going to have it be like a main Ravenger. He just wanted it in the background. So I'm just curious. I think the way they're going to end the war, Skrull Kree war, is the Kree are usually kind of the more good guys in the war. Maybe I think they're going to throw like the Skrulls in the negative zone or some alternate dimension to where they can't get out. But Captain Marvel is there almost guarding, and that's why she's been gone for 20 years. But I feel like the negative zone or whatever realm they take them to is just going to like mess with the time, so it's not going to feel like 20 years to her. And that's probably what that PDA is doing. And then you could play it so where like the other Skrulls have been hiding on Earth for years and waiting to come back out, and then you could get a secret invasion movie down the line.
I think there at least has to be like 1 or 2 Skrulls in the current Marvel universe. I like the idea of them being in the negative zone because that would explain their absence. But there's got to be. I think we should at least have one or two major characters that have been Skrulls the whole time. And I would hate to actually pick and choose which ones because I love all of them. But I feel like something like that would be a huge impact and a huge reveal.
Yeah.
If you were to guess one main top 20 has a poster for the Marvel 10-year anniversary, which character would it be to be a Skrull?
Oh, jeez.
Nick Fury.
But then why would he call Captain Marvel in Infinity War?
Maybe he's a good Skrull.
Yeah, he's a good Skrull.
He's a good
They're
Skrull.
friends. They're best mates.
That would be a big reveal. Like he could be like a Skrull the whole entire time, but just a good one that doesn't want to in the war. You know.
Pepper or Rhodey? That'd be interesting.
Rhodey would make sense.
Yeah, that would be
canonically.
That'd be interesting.
Who else?
That's tough.
I feel like I don't know. It would diminish the past movies if they made a core Avenger a Skrull. I don't like that.
All of them have such like great relationships. So like if you made Bucky or Falcon a Skrull, like that would just diminish everything, all the relationship they had with Captain America.
I would say if they're gonna replace any main characters with Skrulls, I would say it's not gonna be for the past 5 years they've been a Skrull. It's gonna be in the next few movies. At some point, the Skrulls are slowly getting out and they're taking them hostage, and so it's like,
yeah, I think that's better.
It's not gonna be like Hawkeye's been a Skrull since Avengers 1. It's gonna be like Hawkeye's been a Skrull for this last movie, but you met the real Hawkeye the whole other movies. Or something like that.
That makes sense.
That's a much better idea.
They could also do a villain, like maybe Zemo or one of the other villains that's been alive that stayed
Zemo
alive.
would be cool.
Yeah, as a Skrull.
I want them to bring Zemo back. He was a great villain, I think. He's the only villain that really won, if you think about it.
Wait,
Thunderbolts.
I just thought of something. So, you know how they said it was a rumor that Michael B. Jordan would be back for Black Panther? What if he's a Skrull and like they think he's back and like the audience thinks he's back, but like, you know, he's actually dead because he died. And then he starts kind of like messing with T'Challa and stuff.
Oh, that'd be really good because it would really mess with like even the comic fans too, because he's been brought back to life in the past, so that's what everyone would assume. And then the Skrull, that's a really good idea.
You can contact me, Marvel.
We're gonna need some payment on that one.
So I think we can all agree that we've got some treats in store for the Marvel Universe pretty soon, past Avengers 4. It's gonna be an exciting time, especially for us nerds. So I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Thank y'all for joining us on our first show. We had a really good time recording it. And if y'all want to say bye to the lovely fans, we'll be back next week for episode 2. We're going to try to make this a weekly thing. Possibly we might be doing a spoiler cast for Ant-Man at the end of this weekend. If something y'all want us to see us do, let us know. And anything else y'all have to say, guys?
If you guys have any questions for us, make sure to tweet at us. Tweet at the main page or our personals, anything. And we'll try and answer them for you.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. You can catch probably most of us back here next week.
Yep, exactly. Just going to try to stay consistent each week, giving you the news, talking about everything, taking your questions, and just having fun. That's really all it's about.
On that, everybody have a great night. Thank you for listening to us, and take it easy.